2011, we saw record high commodity prices. As the 2012 tax season gets underway, we asked Tina Barrett from the Nebraska Farm Business how high prices and high incomes have changed tax preparation.
Well, everything's changed in the last few years. We've seen such high record accrual incomes, and really the tax planning season for 2011 was crazy with the prices or the numbers that we were dealing with. But we really haven't even seen those record high prices that have come through because so many people held their crop over to 2012. So it won't be until we start looking at this year's income that we really see those record high prices come in.
Too many people are telling you, I have too much money to work with.
Well,
it's a burden.
Everybody comes in and says, I think I have a tax problem, and it's a problem that we have never seen, in any recent history.
So as we look for 2012, what are some things people should be doing right now, maybe resolutions from 2011 that they can plan forward for?
There's so many things, and if we take a step back from the taxes for a second and think about management and looking at your cost production being my #1 resolution. So we look at what these cash rental rates are doing, to what the input costs are doing, and looking at your cost production on more than just inputs, but also including what your family living needs are going to be, as well as your income tax needs, making sure that what you're marketing for is going to cover all of those things.
Plan for that, and then cash flow as well going forward?
Right, because that pulls right into the cash flow, and I don't want you just doing a cash flow for your banker and forgetting it. This cash flow needs to be something that you work with monthly or at least quarterly and come back to and look at it and readjust it, put actuals in, because any cash flow that we do today is, no matter how good it is, it's going to be wrong, and that's the only thing we're going to know about it. So keeping that up to date, moving it forward, making it a liquid thing that you work with is a really great tool.
One of the things that you're also advising is for people to start paying some taxes.
I think it's inevitable with the accrual incomes we've been seeing. We can only work so hard at getting our taxable incomes down. And if your accrual income is $500,000 and you're paying taxes at $50,000, eventually we're going to have a problem. And whether it's the only way we can get out of that is by incurring a lot of debt or other things that don't make sense management-wise. So we need to step back before we make tax decisions and make sure it makes sense from a management standpoint too.
A lot of people have been advising that with these record high commodity prices, start paying off some of that debt that you've accrued over the last few years. How do you advise to manage the debt load?
Well, it's a tough thing to do because it usually comes hand in hand with that tax bill, and nobody likes paying a big tax bill, and the easiest thing to do is to go out and buy a new tractor and finance that and write it off. We've got great depreciation abilities. But the producers that we work with in the last 5 years have doubled their average debt load. And so if we take the 5 most profitable years in anybody's farming career and double your debt load, I think we've got a trigger that there's an issue coming on board, and we need to turn around and think about paying taxes and reducing debt load.
You also think it's maybe time to start thinking about estate planning, and we're seeing, as we mentioned, high corn prices, high bean prices, high wheat prices for the most part. Estate planning with land prices now becomes even more difficult.
It is, and I think if you take any category of farm assets over the last 10 years, we've pretty much added a zero to every one of those categories. And we maybe don't have anything perfect for estate planning, but we need to go out there and take a look at where you're at, see if we've got an issue, at least know where you're going, and even if you don't take that step and get to the attorney, but it's time to start looking at things.
So we're extremely early in the year, first 2 weeks of January here. Overall message for people for the 2012 tax year is what?
I would say this isn't, the way we used to farm. And this is big business, big money, and we need to take some time, and maybe it means hiring somebody to help you out. But it's time to take a look at your management and making sure that you're managing for this new business.
For more information, or if you're unsure on tax rules and options, visit with your tax planner.